Welcome to No Stats, where we call it how we see it.
Back again with another one.
We back again, and Peach try hide the code. Peach sick as hell. Peach is sick as hell.
I apologize, everyone out there. I'm a little under the weather, but we still gonna get through this.
Yeah,
that
ain't stopping us. That ain't stopping us. We still jumping in. We finishing up this NFC East, so y'all got bear with Peach sniffles. Hopefully he don't do it the whole damn video. But as always, before we jump in, make sure y'all like, share, comment. All comments, as always, drop them. Hit that comment section up, and then after you comment, subscribe, ring the bell, and then tell another friend to subscribe and ring the bell and comment. If you know a fan of the team that we talking about right now, send it to them. Tell them to leave their comments and let us know their opinions. Same old. Y'all keep doing what we doing. We're gonna do what we do. Love is love, and we're gonna keep flooding y'all, man.
Love is love, baby. Love is love.
Watch the handle, it takes skill. We gotta run it back. We in the field, and you said it exact. You in your field, we looking for the facts. Let's keep it real, yeah, we talking no stats. Yeah, we talking no stats. Yeah, we talking no stats.
Bleak. We in Philly, man. We in Philly, man. And although I'm from Philly, it's not my squad. It's not my squad.
I'm not north a little bit.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not too fond of the Philadelphia Pigeons, but we do have a Eagles fan.
Oh, Pigeons.
We do have a. No, I'm joking. We do have an Eagles fan that's going to join us. In a little bit. One of me and Peach's friends going to come in. He diehard Eagles fan, so he's going to join us in a little bit, talk about these Eagles. But before he come in, we're going to do our regularly scheduled program. And also, we also just did the Giants video. We had a special guest on that Giants video, so if y'all haven't checked that one out, go check it out. Really good Giants fan. He knew his stuff. We scolded him, didn't we, Bleak?
Yeah, man.
We hit him with every question we could.
He was in that joint like this. Oh,
yeah.
Go ahead, catches.
Yeah. He was a modest Giants fan. He kept it a buck, and it was a great video, so I suggest y'all go watch the whole thing of that and leave a comment as well.
Shout out
But the Eagles, bro. Nobody had them going to the Super Bowl last year, right? After Jalen Hurts' first year, the Eagles were deciding maybe if they should draft another quarterback this coming draft. What direction was they going to go in? There wasn't a whole lot of confidence behind him. Jalen Hurts was a guy I did like at the time, based off his intangibles. You know what I mean? It's always so hard to measure those things, right? And this isn't a top quarterback debate, but if I'm starting a team, I'm taking Jalen Hurts over Josh Allen. Josh Allen on a talent level may be a 9, and Jalen Hurts may be a 7, but on an intangible and on a leadership, and on that type of spectrum, I think it's reverse. I think Jalen Hurts is a 9 and Josh Allen might be a 6. And balancing them out, I'm going with Jalen Hurts. I do like Jalen Hurts. I don't want that to get lost in this video. But this is a team that overachieved, but also had a top talented roster in the NFL. From defense to offense, bro. They made that trade for A.J. Brown. They already had the Heisman winner in Devontae Smith from Alabama. Quez Watkins was okay in the slot, made some up and down plays. Offensive line has always been, if not the best offensive line, top 3 offensive line in the league. Miles Sanders was a Pro Bowl running back. Then on the defense, that defensive line had 70 sacks in the season when the record was 72. Then they had Darius Slay and James Bradbury on the corners. Who, not the biggest fan of James Bradbury, but Darius Slay's a lockdown corner, and James was doing his thing throughout the season. They was loaded, bro. And I think one of the pivotal points in the Eagles season last year, or maybe in the year before, Eagles fans correct me if I'm wrong, but Nick Sirianni was calling the plays. Nick Sirianni, the Eagles head coach, he was handling the play calling, and it wasn't going too well, right? And he decided to hand play calling over to Shane Steichen, who was their offensive coordinator last year, and you just seen a jump in that Eagles offense. And Shane Steichen's going now. One of the big questions I have, But before we get into my questions, I'll say that for the guests.
Say that for the guests, man. He got all the answers for us.
He better hope so. But let's jump into this Eagles take, bro. Last year, a success. Last season, you felt one game short, a couple possessions short, honestly, of getting the big prize, the prize that everybody want, and being Super Bowl champions. Losing to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Jalen Hurts played a phenomenal game. I think he did everything right. He had one big mistake. He fumbled the ball and gave up a touchdown, but I think the positives outweigh the negatives in that Super Bowl. That was a phenomenal performance by Hurts. Defense on the other end, not so much. But
was going against that man Patty though. Shit.
They were. And Patrick Mahomes really ain't even. I mean, he had 182 passing yards. Like it wasn't like he made plays at the right time. That's what it was. It's just timely plays. Yeah, it's just timely plays. And that second half kind of changed the game around. But you look at these losses, bro. It's deep. I mean, they lose Javon Hargrave, which I think is their biggest loss from a player standpoint. Right, a monster in the middle. Right, they lose him to San Fran, who's your rival, who I think is the second best team in the NFC. You lose Robert Quinn, who came in later in the year. You lose Isaac Somalio to Pittsburgh. You lose Andre Dillard, 2 offensive line pieces, but this Eagles offensive line is deep enough to replace those. You lose Kazir White and T.J. Edwards at linebacker. Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh came on halfway throughout the season. They were addition players, but they did provide critical snaps and critical minutes to clog up that middle, because if you don't recall, the Eagles were having problems stopping the run. Why the hell do I have Mozzie Smith? Eagles fans, please bear with me for a second.
Hold on. Excuse me.
I am bugging. Yeah, bro, do what you gotta do, because Seth over here tripping. All right.
I apologize.
No, I apologize. Peach over here blowing his nose. Y'all can mute that
part. Cut me out. I apologize, everyone out there, man.
But no, they lose Chauncey Gardner-Johnson Jr., who was a big addition to that Super Bowl run last year. They lose Miles Sanders, Pro Bowler. Zach Pascal came in, made some plays, not too much. They lose backup quarterback Gardner Minshew. They lose the other safety and Marcus Epps. And I think the biggest loss is Shane Steichen, that offensive coordinator. I feel like he had a Brian Dable. What Brian Dable was to Josh Allen, I think Shane Steichen might have been. Remind you, I'm a Jalen Hurts fan, but I think Shane Steichen might have been that guy for Jalen Hurts. And I want to see how this Eagles team bounced back after losing him. And then on top of that, they lose their defensive coordinator, who I just gave a lot of praise to. But let's see if the scheme changes up too much, right? Like these players got to learn a whole new playbook. Let's see what coaching is a big part of this game. So let's see how they adjust from that end. On the addition side, they replace Gardner Minshew with Marcus Mariota. I think if this doesn't work out for Marcus Mariota, it could be, not too good for the rest of the league.
I think this is a good insurance policy for the Eagles, though. I think Marcus is a good backup veteran. Maybe not going to win you a ton of games, but I think he can save you in some particular games if Jalen Hurts was to go down, and we don't want anyone to get injured. But I think I would be comfortable having Marcus as my backup quarterback.
Yeah, I think it's an insurance policy that you're familiar with. Right, you know who Marcus Mariota is, but I do think the name outweighs the play, because you were in Atlanta last year as a starting quarterback and had a chance to be the guy. Right, Marcus Mariota has had so many chances, and you lose to Desmond Ridder, who we're not all too sold on just yet, but Marcus Mariota does have the talent. So I get what you're saying from that aspect.
He may be an exceptional, and you look at it in the NBA, he just may be an exceptional role player. He might not be.
But as the quarterback, can you be a role player in that quarterback position? Can you be, there's not too many role players at quarterback that can succeed, right? You had Jimmy G. Prior to that, Joe Flacco still had big games, but with Trent Dilfer, There's not. You have to be your quarterback has to be the star. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, even the last couple of Super Bowls. Matthew Stafford is still a top end. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts. You got to be that guy to get to that point. But we'll see what he brings to the table. They add DeAndre Swift to replace Miles Sanders.
I love it.
And they also add Rashad Penny, and I think Rashad Penny is the number one back.
He's from Seattle, right?
He is from Seattle.
Yeah,
and Rashad Penny had a good career in Seattle if it wasn't for some injuries that kind of stumped him. They add Terrell Edmonds. They add Nicholas Morrow at linebacker. Zacchaeus, wide receiver from the Falcons, should come in. I think he's wide receiver 4 at the moment, but he could get some big minutes if Quez Watkins doesn't deliver. He has some big miscues in the playoffs, if I remember correctly. They add Greedy Williams to replace Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I think that's a downgrade there. I think Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is, I won't say much better, but significantly better than Greedy Williams. Katavius Street, they add Justin Evans. They draft Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith and Kelly Ringo from Georgia. So they had 3 Georgia Bulldogs, and that was the whole talk of the offseason and the draft. Jalen Carter with the off-field issues. The Eagles took a chance on him to get him. He's supposed to be a monster. We'll see. He has big shoes to fill with Javon Hargrave and losing Linval Joseph and losing Nakama Kinsu. If you can look at this, that's the only D tackle that they added in here. Right?
Young guys got to step up early.
Absolutely.
Coming off that Super Bowl berth.
And then they had Nolan Smith off the edge. Kind of small for that role. That's why he's dropped in the draft. But talent is there. Keely Ringo's another guy. Talent is there. Right? Let's just see if it transitions in. Sidney Brown is a guy I do like out of Illinois. I think he'll get that starting safety spot eventually.
I think this offense will be dynamic, bro. I mean, they were already dynamic, but I think they can do a little bit more now with having DeAndre Swift and Rashad Penny. You can run the ball a little bit more. You can put DeAndre in more pass-catching plays to where it's not like Miles Sanders. I'm not going to say he was a one-dimensional back, but I think when you got 2 guys that could kind of carry the workload, that take a little bit off both of those guys. And then also I think this will open up things for DeMonte Smith. It open up things for A.J. Brown, Quez Watkins, in the off slants, whether they hitting the check down in certain areas over the top, just because the Eagles are going to be able to put so much pressure on you with the run.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. But my thing is, I like DeAndre Swift. I do. I like him a lot. I like Rashad Penny. But I just want to see them take over as every down backs. Like what the Eagles are trying to do right now is do running back by committee. Right. But DeAndre Swift is another talented running back. Right. The Eagle has a talented roster. When you talk about talent, that's one thing. But for it to translate on the field and to be highly successful is a totally another thing. Right. You got to fall into schemes and things like that. DeAndre Swift, a guy who's coming from Detroit, who should have been the lead back in Detroit, right? But Jamal Williams went off. Jamal Williams led that team in touchdowns. Jamal Williams got a lot of carries. So he split carries there. And I remember watching Hard Knocks, and the Lions was on Hard Knocks, and, not this year.
I got to actually start watching that. That's on Netflix?
It's on Showtime or HBO. I'm trying to blame. I think it might be HBO. HBO has Hard Knocks. But I remember Deuce Staley, who's the running back or the offensive coordinator, my apologies, for the Lions, was saying, like, DeAndre Swift could be a beast. And I think he was talking to him, telling him, like, you just got to have this consistency, man. Like, you got to run like that every time. So, and I think that's why the Lions was willing to, let him go because of the inconsistencies. Talent, yes. And I think this Eagles team is very talented. I don't think you can deny the talent, but it's like, can it execute? And that's having a lot of confidence in your coaching staff to make it work.
I mean, you got a pedigree like the Eagles, too, which should make him want to step up. I mean, I could a little bit understand that. I know Detroit is one of them up-and-coming teams, but still, like, man, you're in Detroit. Now you're in Philly where, this team is coming off a Super Bowl win. you're gonna have to step your ass up and really buy into that culture, buy into that system.
No, I agree, bro. But that's why I say these coaches got to step in and kind of set that culture. And honestly, man, there's a lot of position coaches that's still there, right? So they didn't lose their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator is the top of the umbrella on both sides of the ball under the head coach. But I don't know. I want to see how they proceed after that successful year. Not taking nothing away from the Eagles. They'll still be talented. They're in the NFC, which what I call it, Peach, is JV. So they're gonna do their thing over there, right? But I just want to see if they can continue to keep that level of success. 14-3, right? Jalen Hurts, runner-up MVP, in a Super Bowl loss by a couple of possessions. It's not much room for growth. You're already almost hitting the ceiling, right? And now every team's gunning for you. Every team's gunning for you. Every team want to test themselves for you. For guys that's coming on to this team, right? It's a lot to live up to. The pressure's there. Miles Sanders performed. Javon Hargrave performed. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson performed. These guys that were on the Super Bowl team did what they had to do. And these new guys got to, trust me, these veterans on that defense, they expect you to come in and fill in just like they did. And if you can't, then you start, you can see some shift in that culture.
I was going to say, do you see and maybe I saved this question for the guest. I maybe ask it in a different way, but does this team regress now with the losses? You get a little thin on that defensive line. You like you said, 14-3 in a JV NFC, but you're also playing in one of the hardest divisions in the NFL. So does this Eagle team regress, bro?
Regression is
take a step back.
Weird term.
How far is that?
I think
step?
Yes, right. I think yes, but I think regression is a tough term because, like I just said, 14-3, runner-up MVP, runner-up, champion. The only progression you can do is win the Super Bowl, right? And I think that's not that it's out of the realm of possibility, but my prediction, the Eagles could very well win the Super Bowl. I think they have the second best odds to win it. But for me, I need to see it. I think losing all these pieces, and I'll keep saying it, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, I think that's a big loss. I'm a big believer in Jalen Hurts, but I think they can take a step back. So if you had to ask me to put my money somewhere, it'll be on regression. Good year, productive year. 75% chance they win their division. Maybe 70%. I do like what the Cowboys and the Giants, did this offseason. NFC Championship, I think, is the floor. Maybe they can lose in the divisional round. But I think I could. If I had to give a projection right now, we'll get into NFL playoff projections. But if I had to give a projection right now, I would say the Eagles will get to an NFC Championship game, but there may be a team that's just a little hungrier that can knock them off in an NFC Championship game and get to the Super Bowl. So, kind of, just to relate it to a team I'm familiar with, what the Bengals did, right? We went to the Super Bowl against the Rams, lost that Super Bowl, rebounded next year. So the big thing I heard, right, and I'm not hearing it too much with the Eagles, and it's funny, but the big thing I heard was Super Bowl hangover. So many teams that got to the Super Bowl don't even make the playoffs the next year, right? That shit and lose, get to the Super Bowl and lose. They don't even make the playoffs that next year. Right, it's been think about all of them. Cam Newton and Panthers. Think about that phenomenon and what they did, and Matt Ryan and the Falcons, and there's been so many teams that come in and made the Super Bowl and lost, and then they don't rebuild after that, or it take a little while for them too. I heard that a lot with the Bengals, but we were able to. Started off 0-2, and it was the media's going to do what they do, but end up getting back to the AFC Championship game and coming 3 points within going back to the Super Bowl. I think this Eagles game is capable of doing the same. I think this Eagles team, I think they can get to the NFC Championship game and might just fall a little short.
I can definitely see it.
Man. I've been stalling, bro, because our guest is flaking on us.
No, he's not.
No, he's not flaking. He not flaking, but you know the kids,
I know how it go, man. Shout out to the dads out there, man.
Yeah,
shout out to the dad. Family first, man.
So I don't know if he's gonna make it, but that's not. We apologize to the viewers. We won't be able to get to his questions today. We'll have him back on as we do these Eagles takes. But we 20 minutes in. Let's run through the schedule, bro. I know Peach is sick. Peach need a cough drop.
Yo, the episode actually woke me up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? The nose stopped running. I was like, damn, I probably should have recorded earlier. If next time my nose run, I'm going to just get on this jaw just like this. Throw the headphones on and shit. Oh, man.
All right. So, 14-3 last year. Like I said, man, phenomenal record. Week 1. Eagles fans, I know this is tough. Y'all probably gonna be like, what the hell is the Patriots? They don't got Tom Brady.
Seth talked me. Don't let him gas. He did. Seth talked me into this one.
Peach was right with me. Peach talking about bro. It's a phenomenal
he
point.
always give you a paragraph. He give you a paragraph with phenomenal terms and words, and the next thing you know, I'm like, yeah, New England.
Don't let Peach gas y'all. Peach was like, yo, bro, that's a great. I was thinking the same. You know how people hit you with the. I was actually thinking the same thing. But
is that common on the show that I say that?
But week 1, bro, at the Patriots. The reason we had the loss here, right, is you see a lot of the time, you got to get back into that rhythm. The Rams and the Bengals the previous year lost their first game. Rams got smacked by the Bills. Bengals lost to the Steelers at home. And that's the most recent one in my memory. But I do know, and you can fact check this, a lot of teams that win the Super Bowl or go to the Super Bowl that next year, that first game, sometimes it's hard to. You got to be able to get right back into that.
So you're saying Lions money line? You rocking with me on that? Nope. My bad. We're gonna say that for another day. I'm rocking on that heavy. Check out a little clip note. Me and Savage gonna have the no stats betting lines for this upcoming NFL and NCAA season. So
rock with us. That's a Peach bet. But no, I think the Patriots, they're also honoring Tom Brady. I also think it's in New England, home opener. I also think Bill Belichick would throw the kitchen sink at Jalen Hurts and see what he has. And I can just see this being a sneaky game, bro. Eagles are the better team, but I can just see it being a sneaky game. But that doesn't mean too much because then they rattle off, 6 games in a row. Home against the Vikings, W. At the Buccaneers. Peach already know how I feel about that game. Home versus the Commanders, W. At the Rams, W. At the Jets, I think that defensive line will be a little too much for Aaron Rodgers and that shaky offensive line, W. Home versus the Dolphins, where he gets to play against Tua, who took his starting job at Alabama.
Have they met yet in the NFL?
First time.
This would be good.
I think Jalen Hurts will have some, although he'll play it all like it doesn't matter. You want to win that. You took my spot. You
humblest of the humblest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he was,
you want to win that.
And that just shows you his character and those leadership intangibles that you was talking about when you was comparing him and Josh Allen. I'm not saying that Josh Allen isn't a leader, but little things like that that carry you throughout this league, man, and builds you up to be the professional athlete that you are.
Agreed, bro. 100%. Stop sniffing and in my ear like that.
I was holding. Look, I was holding that shit for like 20 minutes.
Running down your mustache. No, you're absolutely right, bro. And that's gonna be a phenomenal game to watch, that Week 7 matchup. Week 8, another one. You're on a roll at the Commanders. We know what the Commanders did to the Eagles last year. They gave them their loss. I think that was Jalen Hurts' only actual regular season loss because he was hurt if I'm not mistaken.
The last 2 weeks?
Last 2 weeks. And I think they lost. That's how the other 2 losses came out of those 3. But Commanders will find a way to blow up a party. But But then I think the Cowboys at home, you'll get the win. And I think the Commanders are in between the Dolphins and the Cowboys being two really good teams. And you can kind of get sandwiched in, and sometimes that can be a trap game. Right? You come off a hard game where it's emotions high, you beat the Dolphins. You know you got the Cowboys after the Commanders. You just want to get through this Commanders game and focus on the Cowboys at home. And, you get in those situations. So you go into the bye.
You know that week 8 going to be rocking, man.
Hell yeah. 7-2, bro.
Quick, sorry.
Oh, man. Close your ears. This guy. Mute your mic. My fault, man. If anybody wants to impeach some
apologies,
Advil,
please.
Some Mucinex, some
send me some goddamn Robitussin.
Yeah, any medicine y'all have, send it to 325 West Scranton Lane. That's Peach address. Scranton, PA.
I live in a cul-de-sac. Bro, caught in a lane, chill. Oh my God, man.
7-2 though, Blake. Talk to me.
I like it, bro.
At the bye.
I like that week 1. Kind of like that punch you in the mouth game.
Now you like it.
Look.
No, go ahead.
I forgot where I was at. I'm back in my trends now. Nah.
My fault.
But week 1, I like the punch in the mouth game. I'm all for the underdogs. And then you kind of get your footing after that. I think it is going to be a little bit of a tough road stretch when you look through week 3 and week 8. What are those? You only got 2 games at home. You got 4 on the road. So I think this is going to really battle test them. But I love them ending week 9 and with a win versus the Cowboys. You taking it to the bye week at 7-2. I'll be feeling real good if I'm this Eagles team after the showcase that they put on last season. And then you feel that energy of the carryover. You get into that mode of you can feel that same energy from last year. You got new guys that are bought into the system. You was talking about the coaching scheme, how it's going to be arguably on both sides of the ball. So hopefully during this stretch, those things will start to implement themselves inside their system and get this ball club rolling, bro.
Agreed, bro. And I think even though they'll have those changes at offense and defensive coordinator, right, and losing 5 starters on that defensive end, I think the beginning of the schedule works in their favor. The Eagles have a tough schedule in that back half, bro. I mean, we'll jump into it, but coming off that bye, bro, you got Chiefs, Bills, 49ers, Cowboys, Seahawks, Giants. Those are all playoff teams. And the Giants, you only have one non-playoff team. And in the beginning half, Patriots didn't make the playoffs. Buccaneers didn't make the playoffs. Commanders twice didn't make the playoffs. Rams didn't make the playoffs. Jets didn't make the playoffs. Even though the Jets got better, but you have a lot of inexperienced teams that you can kind of get your feet wet with. But coming off that bye, and we'll transition right into week 11, they're on the road at the Chiefs. I think emotions may be too high going into this game. Going to if this was in Philly.
I was going to say, was the Super Bowl in Arrowhead?
No. The Super Bowl was in Arizona.
Okay. So it's always in a neutral site.
Always, except for when Tom Brady won.
Tom Brady. Oh, yeah, okay.
And when the Bengals lost, of course, it was in L.A. when we played for him. I don't know how that works. But, so those 2 years, they were the first 2 teams to at least win Super Bowls in their home stadiums, the Buccaneers and the Rams. These the previous 2 years before last year. But going to Arrowhead, I think that makes it tough. If it's in Philly, my money is on the Eagles. I think in Arrowhead, I don't think Andy Reid wants to lose to his former team. Lost there. Week 12 against the Bills, I think the Bills take a step back. I think the Eagles win that one. 13 and 14 is going to be tough. Your home against the 49ers. The 49ers will come into that game guns blazing, bro. This is a rivalry that's not talked about a lot, but they don't like each other. And the 49ers felt like if they had their quarterback, it would have been a different ball game. I personally don't agree, but I think it would have been a different ball game, yes, but I don't think the 49ers would have won. But I think the 49ers will come out with the edge there, win that game. I think this is a different regular season. I think they'll come into Philly and get that dub. Then they got back-to-back road games against the Cowboys and the Seahawks. I think they split. I think the Cowboys will get that win at home, but they'll beat the Seahawks in Week 15. And then 16 and 17, you rattle off a 3-game win streak. Beat the Seahawks, beat the Giants at home, and then what's the Cardinals speech?
A layup.
Finger
Look,
roll.
when you was rattling off week 11 through 16, you stopped at 17 immediately.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. That's a layup, man. You might as well put Peach at quarterback and put me at head coach. We're going to go in there. We're going to get that done. Bro, the Cardinals, sorry, this isn't a Cardinals take, but they're just dismantling their team. Colt McCoy, was it Colt McCoy? I forget who's their quarterback is supposed to be. They just released him. Bro, they don't have a quarterback that has started more than 4 games on their roster.
They're in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes.
Bingo. Yes,
Kyler Murray, get ready to be on that trade block, buddy.
Yes, sir. You're absolutely right. And then Week 18, I think the Eagles and the Giants, they both be playing for something here, right? But I think the Giants will be playing for maybe a playoff spot where the Eagles will be in. And not that the Eagles won't play hard. I just think the Giants can beat them in their home field. So 12-5, Bleak. Talk to me.
I like it. We talked about the regression earlier in the episode, and you could kind of see this team taking a step back slightly, but still keeping that mojo,
2 games,
which is good. And like I said, that second half of the schedule, 4-4, that's not too bad. Being as though you're seeing teams like the Chiefs and the Niners, seeing the Giants twice. But I like it, bro. I think if they can build up some momentum towards the end of the season as well, and carry that over into the playoffs, we may be talking NFC Championship, maybe another Super Bowl berth.
Yeah.
But can we
I
get
think the Super Bowl
Hurts MVP?
Maybe.
I was just on my light skin shit when I said that. I said Jalen Hurts MVP.
You can't be sick and licking your lips. There's germs all over the mic. But no, that's very capable, bro. Even though I think this team is going to take a small step back, right? Small step back. It's still going to be successful. It's still going to be a lot to cheer for if you're an Eagles fan. A lot of wins, playoff wins, right? All of that. I still think MVP for Jalen Hurts is in the realm of possibility, and it's very possible. And I still think them going to the Super Bowl and even winning it is possible, bro. This is a talented squad. And I told you I like Jalen Hurts, and I think it all starts with the quarterback. And I think if you have a leader, you have every right to believe, if you're an Eagles fan, that you're going to the Super Bowl every year.
Absolutely.
Because when you find that guy, and I know I feel this way, when you find that guy that you have the faith in and you know the team is behind in any circumstance, and you never feel like you out of a game, and you feel like you can win every single Sunday. It's everything, anything is possible for when you feel like you can win on every Sunday.
So this is a Jalen Hurts prove it year to get into that category because he done got his money. Not heavy on the, but I think just to show all right, we lost some pieces. I can still will you guys there, and I know he didn't lose a big piece as Tyreek Hill from Kansas City, and I know they still got Travis Kelce, but Tyreek Hill was still top 3 receiver in the league. That he took away a lot of the over the top stuff that the Chiefs did, and I think the way Patty was still able to go out there with them riding the Chiefs off and them able to still go out there and lead this team. I think Jalen Hurts is kind of in that predicament.
I agree, bro, but I think it's less of a player standpoint because from offensively, they have A.J. Brown, they have Devontae Smith, they have Quez Watkins. Their whole offensive line stayed. They replaced Miles Sanders with 2 running backs, but I think they can bridge that gap there. I just think it comes to it's hard. You get in that conversation of not dynasty, right? You got to win to be a dynasty, but of a team that is for a successful span of years. It's not a lot of those teams. We see teams come and go, right? Look at the Rams, right? And I know it's only been a year, but their team has decimated. I mean, I think the win projection is like not that high, bro. A lot of
They're plus 1,000 to win their division.
That's what I'm saying, bro. So it's an up and down league, and it's hard to stay at the top. So although I think they will, it's just you just prove it, Eagles. That's all. Just prove it. Just prove you can get back to an NFC Championship game, and handle it from there, which you should. I think the NFC. I keep calling it the JV League, but I think some teams will surprise us. It'll happen. Like I just said before last season, nobody picked the Eagles to go to the Super Bowl. Nobody. So, and they did. So you'll get a team that'll surprise us.
I think this year be not to cut you off, bro, but I think this year be filled with a lot of parity. I don't think we'll have one clear cut team that'll be like, oh, like, you know, they're gonna win the Super Bowl. And I think it'll be sort of like the NBA season, to whereas, you know, the Nuggets were dominant throughout the season, but it didn't really implement and stick with NBA fans and people around the league and stuff. It didn't really stick, you know. You're one of those guys.
I had the Jokic picture on.
Yo, facts though. Until Jokic was holding up that trophy, so I think it's good for the league, man.
And our viewers let me hear it.
Oh yeah,
let me hear it. I love it. No, it is good for the league though, bro. But the Bengals win the Super Bowl this year. Eagles schedule, bro. Give me a win that you return to a loss, and a loss that you return to.
My win that I would turn to a loss, I'm going right from the rip. My win that I would turn to a loss, and this is kind of sneaky, but I can kind of see this.
Can I say it?
Who?
Can I guess it? Week 15 at Seattle.
Nah.
All right.
That was a little bit. That was a little bit of an obvious one. I'm gonna go week 5 against the Rams, in LA. Who knows how this? With the cross country travel, but who knows how this Rams team is gonna come out in the beginning? Like you said, bro. Like it's been a year, but that Super Bowl is fairly fresh. It's right there. You still got Cooper Kupp on that side of the ball. You still got Aaron Donald. I know they dropped off drastically, but could a 3-1 Rams team coming into week 5 against the Eagles, could they knock them off? I don't know, man. I don't know.
You said 3-1 Rams team?
A 3-1 Rams team.
They play the Bengals like week 3, so I hope that one loss is coming from you. Know? And
oh my God, man!
My fault. Can we get to the Eagles?
Bengals been in every episode. We didn't even do the all season ticket.
My fault.
But nah, bro. And then one loss, I'm gonna change to a win. I'm gonna give them that week 11 win at Arrowhead, just as a revenge game. Try to send a little bit of a statement to the league. And how would that look going into that week 13 game versus the Niners? You done already knocked off the Chiefs. You done knocked off the Bills. They're going to be riding high. And then if they could get that one, Dallas, shit. God damn. Watch out.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. I think if they rattle off those 3, I will place a bet for the Eagles to win the Super Bowl right then and there.
That's a tough stretch.
That's a tough stretch. If I had to change a win to a loss, it'll be week 6 at the Jets.
I like that one.
I think this Jets team is scary. I think Aaron Rodgers will be kind of informed by week 6 and figuring some things out. And then the travel, right? You go from Tampa, right? You go down south you go up to Washington, D.C. Then you got to go cross country to L.A. Then you got to come all the way back across country to the Jets. So if you can, which are inferior opponents, the Bucks, the Commanders, and the Rams, if you can rattle off all 3 of those, then you got to play a real test in week 6 before you play the Dolphins. I think they can lose to the Jets. In a loss, I would change to a win. The Commanders in week 8. Although I think this can be a win. The Commanders play them tough. I think the Eagles would be like, all right, let's make sure this don't happen again.
Nah, that's a fact.
You know, the Eagles are the more talented team. So, yeah, that's what I'm going with. But, Eagles fans, let us know what y'all think, man. 12-5, successful season, man. Don't kill us too bad if y'all think y'all going 15-2. Eagles fans be tripping. They gonna kill us in these comments.
Let us know.
But they gonna kill us. 12-5, Patriots, Cowboys. They gonna kill us. So, but do it though. Kill us. Let us know how y'all feel.
We open everything. Let us know how y'all feel about that Jalen Hurts 5-year, $255 million.